Well, good evening and welcome to the extracurricular activities and athletics portion of curriculum night for the 2021-2022 school year. I am Christy Bryce. I am the assistant principal over student activities and athletics. And with me tonight is Jay Getty, our athletic director, and you'll get to meet him in just a few minutes. So what we'd like to do tonight is just share a little bit with you about all the extracurricular activities and athletics and clubs that you can get involved with at Hagerty High School. We encourage you to get involved and have some fun while you're here. Go ahead, Coach. Okay, so let's talk about clubs and some opportunities for you to get involved. So we have student government for all four classes, freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior. Incoming freshman elections are usually held at the beginning of the school year. So you can run for freshman class president or vice president, secretary, treasurer, any of those. We have many honor societies that do have a GPA requirement as well as a community service requirement. The National Honor Society is the big one. And then we have several other honor societies that are subject specific. You can see them listed on our screen. English, French, Sign Language, and Spanish are our language honor societies. And then Rho Kappa is our social studies. Mu Alpha Theta is our math honor society. And then we have the Science National Honor Society as well. We have a club for just about everyone. This year, obviously, has been a little bit of a different year. So some of our clubs have taken a little bit of a hiatus because they haven't really been able to do as much as they would normally do. But I sure am hoping that next year that's going to change and we can get back going and get out there and get involved in stuff. So you see to the right is just a small list of them. Leadership does require an application. I believe that if you go back to the website, Miss Miller has a presentation on the leadership class, and I'm guessing the application is probably explained in her presentation. Academic team is, we call it Brain Bowl, is another word for it, where you go and compete. Mrs. Malkovich travel, well, not this year, but this year it's virtual, but they travel around and compete against other schools. Beta Club and Key Club are service organizations, and you can see that list there. Now, if you go to our website, you can access the full list of clubs that we offer here at Hagerty. Go to the main page on the left, click on Extracurricular, and then you'll see all clubs list. On this list, you will find every club we have, who is their sponsor, kind of what the club is about, what they do, when do they meet, where do they meet, if there's an application, if you have to be invited, and what the dues are, if any. I will tell you, most of the time, the clubs that have dues, those dues are paying for a t-shirt, or our honor societies, those dues are paying for cords to wear at graduation, and things like that. So you can find that full listing on our website. To get involved in these clubs, you listen to the morning announcements and they'll advertise meeting locations and times. If you look on that list from the website, you can see the sponsor information. You can shoot that sponsor an email and see, how do I join that club? You know, the president or the leader of the organizations, you can also email with them. Or you can swing by the classroom of that sponsor. All of our clubs do require a sponsor that's a teacher. So they're all on campus. You can stop by and see them in the morning or during break or at lunch or after school. I will say that almost all, I would say pretty much all of them, their meetings are after school. Rho Kappa used to have their meetings at 6:45 in the morning. I'm not sure if they're still doing that, but most of these clubs do meet after school. And again, there's a club for everyone, and I encourage you to get involved in something to make the most out of your high school career while you're here with us at Hagerty. Now, let's talk a little bit about co-curricular activities. Co-curricular means that these are activities that happen after school, but they also have a classroom component. These are our fine arts programs as well as our JROTC program. You can, again, go back to the curriculum night website, and they all have presentations for their specific activities, and I did view them all a little bit ago, so they're all there. Our band and color guard, Mr. and Mr. Cooperman, who are brothers, are our band directors. Again, COVID has caused us not to be able to do as much as we have in the past, but we're hoping that marching band will start again over the summer, because they do have band camp over the summer, and then they begin putting their show together in the summer, and we roll right into football season. Color Guard does participate with the marching band. And then we have Winter Guard that's actually going on right now. I just put their dates on the calendar, so they are going to travel to some competitions here in the next few weeks. And their sponsor is not a teacher on campus, but the Coopermans oversee that program as well. Ms. Hasenbank is our dance sponsor. She has the Unleashed varsity and JV dance teams that have a class, and then they also participate. The JV, they both participate in football games, and then they both compete at a competitive level. Mr. Hickey is our chorus director. He's got several different choruses. Again, you can hear all about these in his video through the website, and get involved with the chorus. They do compete as well, and that's just a fantastic program. Our theater program, Mr. Solomon has already done 2 plays this year. They just performed last week, 12th Night, which is a Shakespeare performance. Mr. Solomon put his own little spin on it, with a little bit of a Woodstock theme to it as well. And then they are getting ready to audition for our musical, which is, it's an Elvis, what is it? It's an Elvis themed musical. I cannot come up with the name right now, but he typically does at least 1 play and 1 musical every year. He has been doing those this year. They've been wearing masks while they perform, and they've done a fantastic job, and that's a great organization to get involved with. Chief Colazzo is our JROTC instructor. Several programs come out of JROTC. They do have a Raiders team that will compete, and several other different teams that compete in competitions around the state. I know that they're getting ready to go to one competition soon, and that might be the first one that they've gone to this year. But Chief Colazzo is new to us this year, so he's getting that program up and running, and it's a great program to be a part of. It is attached, it's an Army JROTC unit. The key feature to these co-curricular activities is that your grade that you earn is attached to what you do outside of class also. So you do have to participate in the outside activities, and it can affect your grade if you do not participate in those activities. So keep that in mind before signing up for these, if you are not up for those outside of school activities. But again, you can access all of their presentations through the Curriculum Night website, and they can explain their organizations to you in great detail. And please follow us on the school social media feeds. We do have a Twitter account as well as a Facebook account. We also have an Instagram account that we didn't put on here, but we'll get that added. So we do have all 3. So if you're trying to find out anything about what's going on at school, go ahead and follow these 2 social media pages, because we put everything up there. And now I am going to introduce Coach Getty, who is our athletic director, and he's going to walk you through the athletic portion.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our athletics and extracurricular presentation part 2 segment. This will focus all on our endeavors out on the playing fields and in the gymnasiums. So we are a member of the Seminole Athletic Conference. There are 9 schools in the conference. Of those 9 schools, 8 are large. We do have one, Crooms, that is a part of the conference and participates in some but not all of our athletic programs. So as we move through, we have a to-do list for you. And one of the items on this to-do list is a reminder for everyone that both Ms. Bryce and I will be available to answer questions at the end of the presentation through the chat box. And also at the end, we do have our email address if you have another question that you need answered via direct communication. So your to-do list is 1, an EL2 sports physical. Physicals are good for 365 days. Please keep in mind that the physical needs to be on the EL2 form. The form that you occasionally receive at the doctor's office that is labeled school entry exam does not provide clearance for athletics. So first step is the EL2 sports physical. Second step is all of our clearances on a platform this year known as athleticclearance.com, where you will create an account attached to the school so that we can review documents in a quick manner to provide clearance. This system also provides access to our coaches for a quick link to all of your information in the event that something on the practice field or at a game occurs in which we need to get a hold of you. It is a fantastic system in coordination with the Florida High School Athletic Association. So your to-do list is obtain an EL2 sports physical, enter the athleticclearance.com website and create an account. That account then is associated with Hagerty High School. I will walk you through that clearance system in just a second. You'll get a notification back from the system that says you've been cleared. And at that point, you are free to communicate and contact our coaches. Our coaching staff does have a listing of our programs on the website with all of their email addresses for your use, or you can email me directly as seen at the bottom and I can connect you to any one of our programs. So on the website, then you would go to athletics, that's up there in the left, circled in red. And then in the information section, I left it in blue for you and circled it, is a link for the sports physical and the set of directions. The athleticclearance.com platform, first screen that you will see is going to give you an option to select a state. Please know that you are not going to be the first one that inadvertently clicks on California or North Carolina. That is something we can solve for you. But please click on Florida after you've entered that site, and it's then going to bring you to a login page. If you already have an account, you simply would log in and go to update your info. If you do not, you would go to number 1 and register, and then number 2, it would have you log back in. Once you've logged in, there are 5 steps that you are going to work through. Step 1 is student info. Step 2 is the medical history. Step 3 is parent info or guardian info. And then step 4, what we call the signature section. That means that you are signing off on your consents for participation. And then step 5, I want to reiterate, is a donation optional feature. This you do not have to do. You can skip right on through, but there is an option there for you to donate. All of that money that you donate goes directly to your sport that you've assigned it to. That is not just held in our athletic office. So while you're there, it's going to ask you for 4 items to upload in the system. One is the EL2 sports physical. Second item is a parent driver's license for residency. In the event that you have just moved and you have not changed your driver's license, but you do have a power bill, phone bill, TV bill, you may use that to prove your residency as well in place of the parent driver's license. It will ask for a copy of your insurance card, and it will also then ask for a copy of the birth certificate that we use for age verification. Once those 5 steps are done and those forms are uploaded, I am in that system at some very early moments in the morning since I am up at 4. So you may get an email back the next day with your clearance information or a denial for the moment notice. Please note that the denial is not permanent. That denial is there so that you can see items that either A, did not upload properly, or B, that I have a secondary question on. Our sport offerings are divided into 3 seasons. That is fall, winter, and spring. The dates at the bottom are the most important part of those seasons. Please note the first date I need you to really focus on is August 2nd. Some of you may still be on vacation for the summer, but we do return to official practices on August 2nd. That will be before the first day of school. Our winter sports then kick off October 11th, and then in Florida, what we call spring, that starts in January on the 10th. So again, we have 3 sports seasons. Our busiest time is right now, that is our spring. Next year, those start dates are projected to be August 2nd, October 11th, and January 10th. In order to try out, you would have needed to have received clearance in the system prior to those dates and those tryouts. We also post specific information for dates, times, and locations on the website for you as we approach those start dates to assist with you getting the correct information. Our athletic event pricing for the Seminole Athletic Conference and the FHSAA does allow us to generate funds to run our athletic department. Seminole County Public Schools handles our coaches' paychecks and does provide money for some transportation, but the entire budget for all of our sports teams is driven off of fundraising and gate receipts. For the 2021-2022 season, we will continue with our ticketing platform, gofan.co. Those tickets are available. You can go now and see a full listing of all of our games. If you've already used that a few times and you have found that you can't find an event, please be sure to refresh that app when you open it up, because games populate as schedules change. So if there's an addition, it might not show when you open it up the first time, but if you refresh by pulling down, it will add all of the new events for you. Our prices then are $7 next fall for varsity football. All of the other events will be $6 for adults and $3 for students. That is a $1 increase for both the varsity football and all other events for the adults. The student price did not change. That was something that was to take effect this year, but we held off due to the COVID situation that we are still dealing with. Our FHSA State Series events are what we call the playoffs. That starts with district play. Once we get to district play, there is only one pass that would be accepted. That is a state series pass. Those are normally held by school personnel. District playoffs are typically $6. Regional playoffs are $7 or $8, depending on the location. And our state finals vary from $9 to $12. We do offer all sport passes. There is a student all sport pass for $50 and an adult all sports pass for $100. Those are both digital. We do also have passes by sport specific scenarios such as baseball or softball. If you communicate with our office, we will get you set up with that information. Now, again, those passes are only good for games that are at Hagerty High School. Please do not try and show your pass at an away contest. They will not honor those. So please be sure and purchase your tickets in advance through gofan.co. All of our games through the spring are already up and visible. You could buy a ticket right now for a game in mid-April if you would like to do so. Our eligibility pieces allow for the freshmen in the first semester to be eligible right off the bat, regardless of what courses they took in the 8th grade. Now, they will come back to them in the second semester, in which they need to have a 2.0 grade point average. That is an unweighted average. So if you've taken a course in middle school for high school credit, this is typically Algebra 1 and Spanish. If you've taken those courses, they do not factor into a eligibility situation until the second semester freshman year. When you review your work, please be sure that if you've got a grade that is C or below in those courses, you know that you cannot receive straight C's in semester 1, because when we add that D from your 8th grade year, you will drop below the 2.0. Your semester of eligibility will last the entire semester, that is January, February, March, April, and May. The FHSAA GPA is a 2.0. NCAA, for those of you anticipating moving on to that level for D1, is a 2.3. And if you were heading to D2, that is a 2.2. The NAIA and D3 schools have an entirely different framework for their athletic eligibility. We can assist you with that as well. Remember that enrollment and participation allow for many types of options to occur. for athletic eligibility, whether it is your residence, open enrollment, your student assignment and program access, whether you're a Seminole County virtual school, Florida virtual school, or a homeschool student. All of those individuals are eligible to participate here at Hagerty based on certain conditions, in which we run through what we call an EL7 verification, and then we also deal with a submission of grades every semester, just like our normal student body. Again, athletic clearance we've gone through. I cannot impress upon all of you enough that this scenario at the very end on this slide may be one of the best purchases you will ever make as a high school parent. That is School Insurance of Florida. If your son plays football, I highly recommend you purchase football insurance, or any other school insurance that you have, a 24/7 coverage or a $20 school time coverage. Those coverages are additional and assist with your copay situations. The first question that we ask when we have an athlete injured is, have they purchased that additional insurance? We recommend that you do that. That is a huge benefit to all of you for a price that is very, very reasonable. So as we roll into next year, I highly encourage you to take advantage of the School Insurance of Florida option. It is well worth the money. Our Hagerty High School Athletic Booster Club does assist us in many ways with all of our financial responsibilities that we have with our teams. One of their big fundraisers is poinsettias. And the other options that they have is they also have a golf tournament. Their golf tournament is coming up April 3rd. And we are highly anticipating the return of the Husky Trot 5K. That will be in 2022 down the road, but that Husky Trot 5K will return for us as a option for all of us in the community to get back out there in a wellness program. For our social media feeds, our athletic feeds are both on Twitter and Facebook. They are both labeled at Hagerty Sports. We typically post mainly the same content on both through a singular platform called Hootsuite, but there are some different things that are posted that we run across in our feeds as we highlight our athletes that have gone on to collegiate careers and our professional athletes as well, so that you can follow all of us at any time through those feeds. They do have features that allow you to communicate with myself, that we do return messages on there. It is much more effective to communicate with us, though, through an email straight to our office, and I would highly encourage you to do that. We have every morning at 4:15, they auto load all of the new events for the day. And any event that has occurred over the nighttime hours that I have not already posted before hitting the sack gets posted at 4:10 before that feed shows up. So you can open up your feeds every morning and know how we did and what is going on for the day. It is a very effective means of communication for us. Now, we have a few questions that we saw go through the chat box along the way. So we do have a little Q&A session. I know that there was one individual that popped up as we were going on about bouncing back to a slide. We have recorded this presentation, so it will be available for you to move through at your convenience at a later time. At this point, I'm going to stop sharing the screen for just a second after I give you one chance to grab something here, and that is to write down if there are any questions that we do not address in the chat box that you would like to send directly to us. Miss Bryce is the assistant principal over athletics. That is Christy_Bryce at scps.k12.fl.us, or you can send it to myself as the athletic director, J_Getty at scps.k12.fl.us. So let me do a couple things. I'm going to bounce out of this presentation, and then Miss Bryce and I are going to work through the chat box for a little while. All right. So just give me 1 second to get back to the top. All right. One of the questions that is in here is about all sports passes. And it's about the $100 mention. So the adult sport passes are $100 per person. The student all sport passes are $50 per student. That again especially on the student side, is a steal for the kids if you're using that all year long. So there was another mention of the previous slide again, that was on the sports system seasons. That is actually on the website, and you can pull that from there. That would be info that's based on this current year. All right, JV football tryouts. Within the football program, we typically do not have tryouts in that program. Those individuals, then we have a freshman, a JV, and a varsity team. So that JV group sometimes also pulls double duty towards the end of the year with a move up to varsity. But we typically try and keep all of those individuals in that program. Throughout the course of their 4 years with us, their body changes so much over those years that we like to keep those individuals there to make sure that they have an experience with us that lasts as long as they would like it to last. All right. Cheer tryouts. Actually, we just had a meeting on that the other day. There is our window that we are looking at. We will be competing with our comp teams at Nationals at Disney the weekend of April 23rd. Once we finish that, we are going to give our coaches the week off to prepare for that. So it looks as though that would be the very first week of May for those students that are here at Hagerty. The incoming ninth graders then would try out once the school year is over. So that date would not occur until after May 27th. As soon as those are available, we will get that set up. That is for sideline cheer. The comp cheer season starts October 11th next year, and that team is picked by our coaches during a window of time right there that first week of October. All right, there's a question about playing soccer. That is a tryout sport that is there for all of our students to be a part of the team. That's usually a 3 or 4 day tryout. That will be in October. In order to try out again, they will need to be cleared in the clearance system. And then we typically keep about 22 to 24 players on both the varsity team, and then the JV team has another 24 players. JV football we've handled. Let's see. Volleyball information for us. Volleyball is in the fall, so they'll start up August 2nd, excuse me. They then will play a SAC and they'll have a district that they belong to, but they do not have to play those district games. Everything is ranked by Max Preps going throughout the season. There are 3 teams with the girls side. There are 2 teams with the boys side. Freshman basketball starts late October. With that, they are one of the boys basketball and wrestling are the 2 that start the latest in that winter sports season. That is at the end of October. And I think that we have made it through the questions in the chat box. So I will again reiterate a couple of quick things. One, if you have a question for any of the components, whether it's clubs or athletics, you can email Christy_Bryce at scps.k12.us or J_Getty, and we can handle all of your questions. There was another one added in. There are tryouts for volleyball. All of our sports, for the most part, have a tryout component in order to make the team to be a part of. Not all of them, but most of them. There is one last question on here. In order to play soccer, my son should pick a PE team sports, right? That is not necessary. There are plenty of opportunities for those individuals out in the community through Bears clubs to stay active in the off season. There is some conditioning with our soccer programs, but that is mainly handled through all of the clubs in the area. And then we have a couple other ones. I believe Miss Bryce is following up with one of the questions in the chat box that was sent to both of us. I want to thank all of you and again remind everyone that this has been recorded and it will be available to everyone to spend some more time going over the material. You are also welcome to email us, and I can gladly email you this presentation if you would like to have it for a little bit simpler ease in taking care of stuff. So, as we like to say whenever we wrap things up, thank you for being with us, and as always, go Huskies. And if somebody wants to add a few more questions, we'll kind of hang out and monitor the chat box if you'd like to throw some other ones in there. But we'll hang out here for just a few minutes. We'll even unmute Miss Bryce so she can talk again, and we can go from there.
Volleyball tryouts are before the school year starts.
Yes.
They are part of that August 2nd tryout date. That's the question in the chat box. Is there a swimming team, and if so, when do they have tryouts?
We do have a swim team. It is a varsity only swim team. That does start in the August window. That does not always start the second, well, would not pair up with August 2nd. It is typically at the availability at the pool. So a lot of times we start up just a couple of days before school starts, but that is based upon Riverside Park and what their availability is. There is a tryout for that. Last year we were 16 and 16 on both sides. We anticipate that being a larger number. That was the availability based on COVID for lanes this year. So that team should be larger next year. Summer football workouts will begin. They typically begin the first week of June. Steve Michaels, our head football coach, actually was in today working on information that will get released out to the freshmen coming in. So if they have all that information, we do keep those individuals in a separate session. So typically the summer workout for the returners would occur at, say, 7:30 in the morning to 9 o'clock, and then around 9 o'clock we would bring the freshmen in. That is in the weight room and then out on the practice field. That typically is a physical exercise type running, conditioning on the outside.
Sign up for the August tryout.
August tryout, all of that information we release about 2 weeks prior to tryouts for that official date. So about mid-July on the website in athletics will be a page that's labeled fall sport tryout information that will list all of our fall offerings, the contact info for the coach, what days and times everyone will be on, and any other information such as do you need to bring your own water bottle. The one piece that I am looking forward to hopefully not being there is your mask. So I'm hoping that is just something we don't have in the fall and that we have transitioned away from this. But if that's the case, we know how to solve that problem as we have successfully completed the fall sports season, winter sports season, and have started our spring, thanks in part to all of the cooperation within the community. All right, I believe we're done with questions. A couple of quick pieces. Ms. Einheit, congratulations again to your daughter for scoring 3 goals last night. That is a quick memory read off of my Twitter feed from when I posted it. They are off to a good start. And again, we look forward to seeing everybody out there. If you have another question, you can shoot us an email. And I think this is our official, as always, Go Huskies sign off. Good night.